If you are willing to be as transparent as you say,
yes,
let's talk about the Criminal Law Code Amendment Bill.
That's right.
What is the role of that bill?
The role of that bill is to make sure that citizens love their country.
What does that mean?
That means you cannot go about talking bad about your own country. Zimbabwe is a sovereign, and this is not the first country which has got that patriotic bill. America has. When it happens in Zimbabwe, it looks like Zimbabwe should be some place where everybody looks at it and say everything, micromanage everything which happens. Zimbabwe is a sovereign country.
What does it mean that you can't talk bad about the country? So you can't say what? That the president is despotic? You can't say that?
That's not, that has always been going on. We are talking about putting sanctions on your country, talking about a coup in your country.
Why not? Why not? It's freedom of expression. But if people feel...
Why are you asking Zimbabwe when other countries have done?
If people feel that the political environment does not enable them to live out and act out the democracy. The very same people that you're saying can't go around talking about sanctions. Those people.
Kathy, I would like to invite you to Zimbabwe. I'm the Minister of Information, and I must tell you.
Are you saying that there are no people talking about calling for sanctions on Zimbabwe?
People are talking whatever they are talking. Zimbabwe is a sovereign state who always put their bills in place to make sure that everything flows according to the rules and constitution of the country. But as I speak right now...
Even if it's anti-democratic?
The media in my country, very democratic. As a ministry, we look after everyone.
How can you talk about freedom of expression and then in the same breath say that there is a law effectively that can ultimately have people imprisoned if they're talking bad about the country?
You can't. We haven't seen Malema talking bad about the president of this country. Any citizen of a country, you got to respect your country. You need to be patriotic. Why is it that when it is Zimbabweans who are patriotic about their own country, it becomes a problem?
If you're going to use the example of Julius Malema, he is seen on multiple media platforms criticizing the president. Is that something?
Of course, you have seen a lot. That's why you are talking like this. You have heard a lot of people who say a lot of things which are not factual about my country, and that has not stopped them. Nobody has stopped them. What I'm talking about here is serious issues.
This is a bill that was passed in
sanctions have strangled the people of this country. Sanctions have strangled the people of our country. And you got to understand that. And they have no reason. Sanctions are not strangling leaders, presidents. Sanctions are strangling the poorest of poor in our country. There is no reason why a Zimbabwean wants to destroy everything and inherit ashes. You can't burn a country so that you inherit ashes.
How is talking bad about a country burning it?
But we have seen opposition in the past. We have gone to Western countries asking for sanctions to be imposed. These are illegal sanctions, by the way.
Because you may not know. Because they believe the government is running the country to the ground. How about addressing the very issues that call for people to go out and say that sanctions against Zimbabwe must stay? Why not address those issues, but instead trample down on the freedom of expression, on freedom of assembly, by the way, just before an election?
There's so much freedom in my country.
Freedom of assembly.
There's so much freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. You can walk around anytime. There's so much peace in my country. Believe you me, and that country, we are building our economy. There is so much happening in terms of infrastructure building. If you do not want to know, if you want to live in the past, unfortunately, there's not much. But what Zimbabwe is there for you to see. We are open. We want you to come and to observe what is happening.
Why then, according to you, if your country is as peaceful and thriving and rebuilding economically, as you put it, why are so many Zimbabweans not in their home country?
Let me tell you, Zimbabwe has got some of the best in terms of literacy rate in Africa. We are the top attested by UNESCO. And if people are educated, they always look for jobs all over. And secondly, let me tell you, a lot of Zimbabweans who left is because of the illegal sanctions which were imposed on our country, which made it impossible for new factories to be built in Zimbabwe.
So the government takes no responsibility.
The Second Republic
So you don't take
over.
responsibility for the conditions on the ground that are leading to Zimbabweans leaving the country, many of which, by the way, may not even come home to participate in this election.
Kathy, you are listening to the old story. Zimbabwe right now, there's a lot of Zimbabweans
What do you
coming
mean
back
is the
home.
old? What do you mean is the old? What do you mean is the old story?
It's an old
we have
story you're talking
Zimbabweans
about.
in this country
No, there's a lot of
that
changes.
don't want to go home.
Let me tell
Go
you.
to the Home Affairs Minister. Ask him to give you the figures
I know
of the
that.
number
I
of
don't-
Zimbabweans who are applying to stay in South Africa, who are applying for waivers on the ZEP because they don't want to come home.
Let me tell you, there are also people who go all over. Our people are very educated. They will go and find jobs anywhere in the world. And in this moment, in the Second Republic, a lot of Zimbabweans from diaspora have come back home, are actually investing in the country. We are doing a lot of things. For your information, in the whole of Africa, the biggest steel company is being built in my country.